I am Sean Webb, and this is Your Superior Self.
Hi, this is Zach Poitras, and this is Your Superior Self.
I'm Andy Mant, and this is Your Superior Self.
Hi, this is Sue Jackson, and this is Your Superior Self.
I'm Ginny Sarasvati, and this is Your Superior Self.
What's up, everybody? I'm Aubrey Marcus, and this is Your Superior Self.
What is up, Superior Nation? Welcome back to Your Superior Self. I am Trey Downs, and I'm fired up about this episode. Like, I am truly fired up. This is a conversation that is going to hit you to the core. Glenn Lundy joins the show, and I love everything about this guy. His energy, his philosophy, his spirituality, everything that he's about, I can align with. And everything that he's doing is just trying to help others become more aware of their greatness and the fact that we can create our own, well, we've already created our own realities, but we can mold and tailor what we want into our lives through positive thinking, positive affirmations, positive energy. And once we get out of that victim mindset, the world really truly opens up to us. And this is what I love about this guy. He preaches that in his daily podcast, his Facebook Live, #Rise and Grind. Because it all starts in the morning. You guys know me, like that is right up my alley. It starts in the morning, that's how you start your day. I feel as if though when you wake up, just a little science here is when you wake up, you are coming out of that REM sleep state, and your brain is in that delta brainwave category, and you start working your way down to theta and alpha, and then eventually beta, which is like everyday consciousness. Like right now, you feel, sometimes you feel creative and sometimes you don't. You got a lot of restrictions on your thoughts. But when you're in delta and theta, like coming fresh out of sleep, you feel like very flowy, like you can imagine things a little bit better. You can have more creativity if you want. That's when I come downstairs and I meditate, and it's insane the ideas that I generate when I'm meditating in that state. I just feel like things are easier, like things come to me easier. There's less restrictions. And when I go for a run right after that, I am generating more ideas. Like I can go out with a problem and come back with 20 different perspectives because of those brain waves that I'm, the brain wave states that I'm in. And then I go into beta, and then it's like whatever. But I really truly enjoy this conversation because we go all over the place. We talk about Glenn's life and how he turned his life around and pivoted from homelessness to what he's doing today. So here's a little soundbite of his journey.
Well, what really sucks is when you're homeless, you become invisible. Like people won't make eye contact with you. They don't know if you're going to mug them. They don't know if you're going to ask them for money, whatever. If you're on drugs, if you're a freaking crazy person. And so you become invisible, man. And that took me into a really dark place, just doing the same thing every day and not feeling any value, not feeling any worth, dropped me into a state of depression. Ultimately, I tried to take my own life unsuccessfully. And after that, there was a series of events. Like after I tried to take my life and that didn't work, I realized, okay, you got yourself into this mess. You're going to have to get yourself out.
Wow. I mean, that is just so powerful. Powerful to realize that you're not a victim, that every choice that you've made, I can talk about it all day. I can talk about it all night. I can talk about it every day. The realization, once you become aware that your life is a result of all of your decisions, no one else's, then you become free. You're not a prisoner to the ego anymore. You have the opportunity to change your life, and this is exactly what Glenn did. And I'm fired up about it. Like I'm operating on a high frequency right now, just kind of like, you know, feeling the energy develop, and I haven't even the interview hasn't even started for you yet. I really hope that you guys enjoy this. I really hope that you guys follow Glenn and everything that he's doing. Go check him out at glennlundy.com. Find out more about him and his mission in life, and check out his daily Facebook Live #Rise and Grind, because it's gonna motivate you to get better. I mean, I'm not saying that you're not better. I'm just saying it helps you get motivated to become more aware of the possibilities in your life that you can create yourself. And that is the idea of life, is learning, progression, growth mindset. If it hasn't happened yet, you're not ready. It's hard for me to accept that myself, but it is the truth. Like, everything happens for you. You're moving in the direction. If you don't have something yet, you're not ready for it, but you have to keep putting in the effort, and then one day you'll be ready. And that is the end of my rant. I am sorry. But go to Your Superior Self. I'm sorry for the noise. My daughter is here sitting in my lap. We're watching Sesame Street. It's a Sunday. I just had some coffee, and I'm excited about this conversation. And follow me on social media, Instagram at tdowns80, and on Twitter at downstrey, and leave me a message at yoursuperiorself.com. Let me know what you guys are up to. I love hearing from you. I love hearing your feedback about the episodes. I love just finding out what you guys are about. It really helps me. It really inspires me to hear that you guys are doing great in your lives and what you guys are doing. So I truly, genuinely love hearing from you guys. But enough of that. Let's get this thing started. Here is my conversation, my very powerful conversation with my new best friend, Glenn Lundy.
This is Glenn Lundy, and this is Your Superior Self.
Glenn, man, what's up, my man? How are you?
Dude, living the dream, brother. And you?
Trying to live the dream. You know, I'm pursuing, I'm pushing, I'm persevering, I'm driving, I'm doing everything I can, to stay on that path. That's all we can do, right?
That's it, man. Control the things that we can control.
That's right. Yes, sir. So why don't you give everybody a little bit of background on you? Like, what are you up to? What are you doing? What's good?
Yeah, man. So my name is Glenn Lundy, and I am a husband to one, a father to seven.
What?
Yeah, man. And number 8's on the way. My wife's baking number 8 right now.
Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you. Also a 20-year automotive professional and the host of the wildly popular Facebook Live show, #Rise and Grind, man. And that's pretty much my dig. I've got two major lanes, do a lot in the automotive space across the nation, and then also have our show there on Facebook and the Rise and Grind group, and we've been rocking that for the last couple of years. So
I love that. What's your passion?
My biggest passion is I want to help people understand that if they could change the way they start their day, it'll make a massive impact in their life. So I'm all about extracting greatness out of human beings, right? Like that's my jam. That's what I've always been able to do. It's what I do in automotive. It's what I do with Rise and Grind. And really, I just spend every day trying to get people to understand that it all starts in the morning.
You're definitely right about that. What do you do in the morning to help rise and grind?
5 simple steps, man. 5 simple steps to an extraordinary life. Step 1, never hit the snooze button. Ever, ever, ever. Scientifically, just not a good thing. Step 2, don't touch your phone first thing in the morning. So I don't grab my phone. That's kind of a lie. I grab my phone to put music in my headphones, but it's instrumental music, no words. And we don't do any social. We don't do any text messaging. We don't do any emails, anything like that first thing in the morning. And then step 3 is gratitude and goals. So I'll write 10 things that I'm thankful for. And then I'll sit down and write my goals immediately after that. And I know that sounds like 2 steps, but really it's one. Like if you just write your goals, but you don't come from a place of gratitude, it can actually be a negative thing for you because you're like, I wish, without any gratitude for where you're at right now. So gratitude and goals is step 3. Step 4 is take care of the physical. Sometimes I'll go golfing, or I'll go bike ride, or I'll go lift weights. something physical. And then step 5 is really the key to the whole thing. And step 5 is send out an encouraging message. So whether it be a text message, a video message, someone in your family, you've spent the whole morning taking care of yourself, getting yourself on that right frequency. And now it's time to release that energy out into the world, make an impact in somebody else's life.
I love that. I wasn't big on video messages until like maybe a year ago. Like some people, some of my boys in the self-improvement realm were like sending me some video messages, and I was like, what in the heck is this? Like, a text is cool, bro. Like, you just send me a text. And but then I got into it, and like it's a little bit more personal, and like, obviously the text is less personal, and I love it now. I do it all the time. I definitely stand, like, when I'm trying to get someone's attention to, like, if I want to talk to someone to get them on the show, like, I'll send them a video message just to stand out from others and catch their attention. I love it.
It's a difference maker, no doubt. We were all designed, the first thing that a baby does when it's brand new is he just starts to try and recognize faces, man. That's why we all go crazy the first time, like, the baby smiles. We're like, oh my gosh, look at the baby smiling. Oh my goodness. Like, that's just how we naturally connect with other humans. So video is a powerful tool, no doubt.
That's awesome. So you're in the automotive world. Like, I've seen some videos of you, like, going around to some dealerships, right? Like, are you helping them with sales? Are you helping them with customer service? Like, what's your background in that?
Yeah. So what I do, I used to be on the retail side of automotive. I jumped into a small store in a small town that was selling 120 cars a month back in 2011. And we were able to grow it to where it became the second largest used car franchise dealership in the country, selling over 900 cars a month. And we were able to do that in a very short period of time, just over 6 years. And so I now help owners and general managers of dealerships across the country experience that same type of growth through culture development, leadership training. Yes, of course, there's strategies and processes we have to put in place from the automotive side. But really, I just help them extract the greatness out of their people.
So is that like your business? Is that what, like, you're into? Like, you go around and you help them, like you said, implement leadership styles or leadership training, diversity training, getting, everybody up to speed on, different things going on. And then that really does affect the sales. Like, I mean, you're seeing a big difference in that. Yeah,
tremendous difference. So our 4 focus areas is, I help them scale their volume, their profits, their employee retention, and the overall culture of their dealership. And we do it in a very unique way. I'm the only person in the industry that does this. So most people in my position that had an opportunity to be a general manager of a store that had the kind of success that we had, most guys would stay in that spot. Most people don't leave. I didn't have to leave. It was a choice. And so I'm the only one in the country that is really sitting down with owners and general managers, and we train virtually every single week through Zoom calls. We also do some retreats. And yeah, man, I just pour into them mentally and get them in a place where they can understand that really, if we flip the business model on its head and put our employees first, our customers second, and our profits third, versus most people look for profits first, customers second, and employees third.
Sure.
When we flip that model on its head, man, it makes a massive difference. It's incredible. So we usually see about a 25% increase in sales in the first 90 days.
Really? 90 days, 25%. Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, man. Flipping it around on its head, employees first. How do you do that as a like, I'm just curious. Like, I just, and just being totally honest with you, like, I hate the car buying process. I just letting you know, sure, man, I'm being transparent. No problem. How do you flip that on its head? Like, how do you make, your employees number one?
And so it really comes down to a mindset, ultimately, of servitude. So people talk about, servant leadership, or I'm a servant leader, so on and so forth. People you kind of hear that buzzword a lot, but really if you extract what servant leadership looks like, it's a mindset of servitude. So I am going out of my way. I'm seeking opportunities to serve. I'm not just helping whenever it gets thrown in my lap. That's what most managers do. They will serve their employees when they come to them. But a true leader goes out seeking opportunities. So I teach these guys something called corporate family values, where we really intentionally spend every single day pouring into our employees, figuring out what moves them, what motivates them, what's going on in their life. We teach them financial skills, how to manage their money outside of work, how to manage their relationships outside of work. Like, it's not just, the car business has been known for a really long time to be very, just slave labor, right? Like, the owner's up there at the top making all the cash, and you got these guys working 70 hours a week, and they're getting divorced, and they're eating awful, and they're drinking Red Bulls all day, and maybe they're doing drugs, or maybe whatever. It's just been it's been an interesting industry over the last few decades. And so having that mindset, like, every day you wake up, you brush your teeth, you look in the mirror, and you're like, how am I going to serve these humans today? How am I going to help make their lives better? And that's what I teach these guys to do.
That's awesome. I feel like that can go for any company. Like, if you're out there like 100% about your employees, like, that's going to inspire them to be better. And, like you said, you're going to, to be what is the quote? I cannot even think of it right now. It's like, I'm going to butcher it, but anyway, getting back to, service, right? Like, the more that you take care of your employees, the better employees they become.
Totally.
And then they take care of the customers. They provide better customer service.
That's right.
The customers don't feel like, so is that, do you come across the model where the dealerships have like the salaries in place where they don't have to worry about the commissions, or, because I just heard about this the other day, like there are some dealerships with salaries. So like the salesmen don't have to worry about knocking down X amount of sales a month or whatever.
Yeah, no, I'm not in that camp. I'm not in the camp of letting people that perform average or even a little bit above average to make the same money as somebody who's out there freaking pedal to the metal, jamming. Like, I think people should be able to make their own paychecks based on their efforts and energies. Now, the industry has changed. There used to be tons of gross profits in selling cars, and now with the internet and people having access to information and the competition, you're now competing with every other dealer in the world, and Carvanas and Amazons and all these different things. There's very small margins on new car deals nowadays, and so most models are shifting over to really a volume pay plan. So as you stack more deals, you get paid more per deal. But really, it just comes down to, I teach these guys how to teach their people life skills, not just job skills. Everybody's so focused on job skills, dude. You can train a freaking monkey to go through whatever process you set up. It's not that complicated. I don't care what company you work for. You can typically train a monkey, man. It's that people factor. And when you realize, like, especially in the auto industry, people can make some coin, dude. If you work, you can make jack. Like, I've built an amazing life, through the car business. No degree, college dropout, used to be homeless, been in jail 17 times, right? Like, all of that. And the auto industry gave me an avenue to really clean my life up and create what I have now, where I've got 7 kids going on 8, and we're sitting on, my kids are out there swimming around, and we got a pond out here and stuff. Like, I want other people to be able to have that same opportunity. And so it really just comes down to, teaching those life skills, not just job skills, making it all about them.
I know I know a guy up here that can give you a good deal on a school bus, man.
We're getting close, bro. We've got We call it the Lundy limo. So we've got
That's
a
awesome, dude.
15
Like,
passenger van that's been converted into a limo, man. 9-passenger limo.
that's awesome, dude. I got to see that. So 17 times in jail. Like, talk about that. Like, where were you at in your life when that stuff occurred?
Man, I used to live a very two-dimensional lifestyle. So I caused a lot of trouble in my 20s. 16 of those times that I was in jail, it was just one night, right? There was only one time I was in jail for an extended period of time. But mostly it was just one night, man. Like I'd go out and maybe get drunk, maybe get in a fight, maybe go, get with my boys and go steal some stuff or hanging out in pool halls. Like, that old saying, nothing ever good, ever happens after midnight.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Bro, my night didn't start till midnight for about 10 years, So I just constantly got in a lot of trouble, but I was living a very 2D life. So back then, what I mean by that is back then I believed, like I had a belief in a very Darwinistic system. I had a very Darwinistic mentality, survival of the fittest. And so I was all about mind and body. That was it. I was missing that third. A 3D life, I believe, is once you understand the spiritual side of yourself. And so in that 2D lifestyle, it was just mind and body. It was me against you, right? It was me against you. And it was I'd use my mouthpiece to coerce or to negotiate or whatever to get ahead for a good decade of my life. And it wasn't until I added that spiritual component and understood that we're not just flesh and bone, but that we're actually here by design to make an impact in other people's lives and to live our best lives. It wasn't until then that I was able to make those changes and stay out of jail. So it's been a good 12 years since I've been in.
That's amazing. So was it a certain event or an epiphany or realization or an awakening that triggered that spiritual side?
It was a journey, I at one point in my life, I was homeless. I was living in San Diego. I had burned every bridge I could burn. And, the worst part about being homeless, Trey, is, people think it sucks to be broke or it sucks to be hungry. But what really sucks is when you're homeless, you become invisible. Like people won't make eye contact with you. They don't know if you're going to mug them. They don't know if you're going to ask them for money, whatever, if you're on drugs, if you're a freaking crazy person. And so you become invisible, man. And that took me into a really dark place, just doing the same thing every day and not feeling any value, not feeling any worth, dropped me into a state of depression. Ultimately, I tried to take my own life unsuccessfully. And after that, there was a series of events. Like after I tried to take my life and that didn't work, I realized, okay, you got yourself into this mess. You're going to have to get yourself out, Glenn. Like there's no easy. It's life's not easy and taking your own life is not easy. So you might as well, like, it's going to be hard either way. Right.
Yeah.
And so from there, man, I kind of went down this whole journey of trying to get a better understanding of life and why I was here and purpose. And that led me through I studied Scientology for a little while, which Scientology ultimately opened the doors of my mind to help me see that we are spiritual beings. And then as I kind of traveled down that path, I was like, whoa, Scientology is not for me. So then I started, studying, Buddhism and Christianity and different all the different things, just trying to really understand the spiritual side of myself. And so over a period of time and then different events and just the way things kind of fell out, I finally landed in a place where my eyes were ultimately opened to the fact that there's way, way, way more to this life than what it looks like on the surface.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations. Not a lot of people have that awakening. And you know what though? Like you had to go through that crap. You know what I mean? Like
I did.
There's a plan for everyone, and like you have to go through the darkness to get to the light, right? And
no doubt.
What are you like? I mean, what's your spirituality now? Like, what are your beliefs?
So, I am a Christian and a firm believer in Christianity. I'm a little weird though, because I'm like I just love God, right? I love God, and I know that God loves us, and Christianity is my way of connecting with God. So I go to a Christian church, I read a Christian Bible, and that's worked for me to be able to connect with my God. But I also I'm not the type of person that would ever put my powerful God in a box, right? So I don't pretend that my way is the only way. I just know that that's what works for me, right?
Sure.
That's what works for me. And so I think energy is powerful. I think God is complex, and I'm thankful that he reached out and changed my life.
That's awesome, man. Um, it's crazy, thinking about, like, I mean, what's your relationship with your parents, like, when you were going through those times when you're homeless in San Diego? Like, did you have a relationship with them where um they could have helped you out, or was that strained as well?
Yeah, man, my mom loves me to death, but she was like, bro, you can't come here. She was like, dude, because I was a terror back then, man. I wasn't a good dude. And so, my dad was very militant, and my dad was the type, like, you didn't call my dad if you were in jail. There was no point. He'd just be like, let him rot. He deserves it. He earned it. That's where he should be. And so, my parents got divorced when I was 11. My mom, it was kind of interesting, Trey. So I'm half black, half white. My dad's black, mom's white. And when they got divorced, my dad remarried a black woman and my mom remarried a white dude. And then they moved in 2 apartments apart. So in apartment 30 was my dad and his new wife, and she had 4 kids and they had 2 more. So there was 8 of us in there, and the culture was every stereotype you could think about, right? Like fried chicken, collard greens, all the music was like gospel, hip hop, Motown, sports and TVs and loud, like that 28 country music, rock and roll, just completely different, completely different deals. So dad was kind of doing his thing. My mom really was never able to get me under control, and it just hurt her heart so badly, the poor decisions that I would make, that she had to separate herself from me. I could always call her, but that was it. So she had to separate herself so I didn't hurt her anymore. So it was estranged. But now, my dad passed away regretfully before I turned my life around. And so I never had an opportunity to really make him super proud with the things I'm doing now. But my mom, I bought her a house 3 years ago, moved her here to Kentucky. She's in my kid's life every single day. She's at every baseball game, every soccer game, every dance recital, all those things, man. She doesn't work. We pay all her bills. So it's a cool gig now with me and my mom.
That's awesome, brother. I'm sorry to hear about your dad. But like, let's say, well, how long were you homeless for?
Not long, man. Like that whole season's super blurry. But basically I was, waking up, and so I would sleep on the bus. In San Diego, the buses run 24/7. And so I would sleep on the bus for a safe place. It would get to the depot at 6 a.m. I'd get off and I'd spend the day looking for change so I could get a sausage McMuffin with egg. I knew that would get me through the day. And then I'd look for more change so I could get back on the bus and ride the bus throughout the night. So if I had to put a timeline on it, I'd say 5 to 6 weeks, like not super long, but long enough
To make it, get that message across.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, man, that's tough, dude. Like, what would you say to one of your kids that's going through that? Like, what would you, what would you as a father like do in that, if you were in that place?
If my kids, I just hope, like my dad he used to tell me all the time, I'm not your friend, I'm your father, right? I'm not your friend, I'm your father. Do as I say, not as I do. Don't question anything, right? Like he was just very militant. I had to ask to get a drink of water. I had to ask to take a shower. Like all of those things. My dad was just, and so what I'm trying to do with my kids, which they're yelling out there for
That's
some
cool,
reason,
dude,
all of a
because
sudden.
mine's probably in the background too. It's all good,
Hold
bro.
on. Hey, shh. No. Sorry about that, dude.
You're good, man.
Yeah. So really what I'm trying to do with my kids, dude, is I'm just trying to help them explore more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my dad put everything in a box for us, and so I want them to explore the 3D of their lives, right? Their minds, their bodies, their spirits. I want them to understand that there's more to this life than what it seems. And ultimately, I try to, dude, I'm kind of crazy, Trey. So I lean into my kids when they're little, right? When they first start to like understand and comprehend like stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I lean in, dude, and I whisper in their ears all the time. I'm like, hey, guess what? You're a Lundy. You know what that means? They're like, what? I'm like, dude, Lundy's have superpowers. You can't tell nobody though, but Lundy's got superpowers. And they're like, what? What do you mean superpowers? And I'm like, yeah, dude, like anything you put your mind to, you can accomplish it. It's crazy. Don't tell nobody though. You can't tell. It's a superhero power, right? And so I'll like plug little things in their head like that, because that's what I was missing. I didn't feel I had a whole lot of value or a whole lot of worth. I didn't feel like I had superpowers. I didn't feel like I could create whatever life I wanted to create. I felt like I had to follow this model, live in this box, and that box sucked, man. It sucked. And so I lashed out through fighting, through stealing, through whatever. Like, just, it was really a lot of anger and animosity, towards my father and towards just the fact that this was all I could do. Like back then, I just believed this is all I could do. My dad drove a forklift, that was it. And mom worked at a, medical billing place, and they made enough money to where we never went without, but there was no surplus. And we lived in an apartment, a tiny little apartment complex our entire life, man. My mom never lived in a house until she was like 45 years old or something like that, dude. Just apartments her whole life. And so I guess to answer your question a little bit shorter, what will I tell my kids if they ever get in a position like that? Is I'll just remind them, man, like, dude, there's something so powerful inside of you, something so powerful. And I can't tell you what it is, and I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I'll do everything in my power to help you figure out what it is.
Yeah, man, that's it's thoughts. My son's 10, my daughter's gonna be 8 next month, and I have a little one who will be 2 in December. But those thoughts, I look at them now like they're just totally different than I was. Like my daughter is a tomboy, and my son is very in the games, and it's like I wasn't. I was in the sports in the woods, man. I was out, doing all kinds of different things, and I don't want to put them in a box either. I don't want them. I want them to explore who they are. I don't want there to be, you can't play video game. I get it. Like you shouldn't be playing video games all the time, but if you look at the top 5 regrets that we have on our deathbeds, it's like, I wish I didn't work so hard. I wish I wasn't so serious. I wish I had more fun. I wish I did this, I did that. And you think about it, like even now, like the kids are, that's how they communicate with their friends. They're on Fortnite, and they're having conversations and hanging out over there. So it's just a different world. And if my kid ever, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to think about that. Like if my son is in San Diego and he's homeless, I don't know. I mean, it's just tough. You definitely got to let them live. I mean, they're here to learn. They're here to learn their life lessons. They got to learn something. You know what I mean? They got to. Sure. You can't live their lives for them.
Right.
You just got to love them as much as you can, and just love them, love them, love them. I mean, they could be a total screw up living in my basement, but I'm going to love them, and just kind of direct them and, that's one thing that I do differently is, my dad always told me he loved me. He always did that. But, I'm going to have the hard conversations. I'm going to have the hard freaking conversations that nobody wants to have. And
yeah, man,
it's gonna be painful, man. Like, it's going to be painful, but we got to have it. You know what I mean?
you got to have it, dude. And I was listening to TD Jakes. I was listening to TD Jakes, dude, and he was talking about how, like, we got to fertilize the seeds, right? So he was talking about how everybody's got a gift, and you can see that gift that is in people. You can see it early, very early stages of life. You can see what people's gifts are, and it's our job as parents and as mentors and as role models to really fertilize that seed, whatever it is, to let it grow and ripen as fast as humanly possible. And so I see that with all of my kids now, man. Like, they're all so, I'm just looking for their gift. I'm constantly looking, like, what are they good at? What do they really get a lot of joy out of? What are they a natural at? TD Jakes used an example. They go into his church and all the lights are out. And so one of his daughters, she runs over and she grabs a flashlight from under the seat, and she's holding up a flashlight, so they can take a picture or something like that. And he asked her, like, don't you want to be in the picture? And she's like, no, I want to hold the flashlight. And he was like, oh, she's a leader. She's a leader. She doesn't need the limelight. She wants to lead other people, right? And so I see stuff like that with my kids, and I just try to feed and nurture it. My son Joel, he's 8 years old, dude. He's a worker. Like, the kid loves to work, man. He's not naturally. What are these kids doing? Hold on. Hey, can you guys please be quiet? I'm on an interview. Sheesh. But dude, he's like not naturally gifted at anything. Like, well, as far as like athletically wise, or even dance or any of that stuff, dude. Yeah. He starts every sport day one, worst kid on the team. He ends every single season, best kid on the team. He will practice his freaking tail off, dude, till he gets it. So because of that, his mom and I both were like, let him work, dude. Like, let him do whatever. Keep him busy as long as he's working. And he's not a video game kid. Like, he'd rather be, he goes outside, he goes fishing, he'll go fishing for hours, dude, And so we just try to fertilize all that. Like, here, whatever you want to do, man. Willow, my 6-year-old, exact opposite. She's crazy. My older daughter, 10, dude, she's talented as all get up. She can pick up anything and do it instantly. But guess what? She ain't putting in no work, bro. None. Zip. Zero. She don't like to practice. But you barely get her out of bed. You know what I'm saying? So, but she's an inventor. She likes to invent. She likes to create all the time. And so we have, inventor boxes. She gets an inventor box every month in the mail, and it's like robots and stuff that she can put together because that's her jam. So,
that's awesome, dude. That's like definitely thinking outside the box as far as a parent, fertilizing that seed and keeping them straight and making sure you get out in there and make sure the weeds don't grow up. You know what I mean? And
that's it.
Weeds too, the negativity, the society, what society says is right. Like, it's not right. You just got to keep them straight on their path. I mean, the innocence of being a kid, like that wonderment, that those dreams. I mean, they're just so, like, I'll just have a conversation with my daughter and just like sit there and bask in it. Like, it's nothing. It's just a conversation about nothing.
Right.
But her mindset, you know what I mean? It's just crazy. Like,
and it's so profound.
It's profound. It's like it could be about, I don't know, bubbles, you know what I mean? Like, or like, fog or dew or whatever. And it's like, it sounds like she's like this 10-year-old philosopher or 8-year-old philosopher. Like, just, it's insane. But to have that innocence again, like to be that clear on what you want, like, it's amazing, man. Like,
and I agree with you. And if we could get back to that, man, it would be so cool. Like, it's powerful. It's universally powerful. So my son, I'm going to refer to Joel again real quick. when he was 5, he went to slide down the slide on the play set. It was a wooden play set, big green slide. You put your hands above you and grab kind of on the wood, and then you slide yourself down the slide. And so he reaches his hands up and he goes to slide down, and there was a wasp nest right there where he puts his left hand.
Mm-hmm.
And so he gets 5 wasp stings in his left hand at 5 years old. Comes in, his hand looks like a freaking mallet, dude, big old club, right? It's all swole up. And so the boy comes in, he's crying, he's freaking out. And like, I just had an epiphany. And so we get him calmed down and stuff. And I leaned in, I said, Joel, dude, great job, bro. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for saving your sisters from that. Like, could you imagine, dude? Like, now that you found the nest, Dad's going to go out there. I'm going to take care of it. Could you imagine if one of your sisters would have got stung, dude? They're not tough like you, bro. Like, thank you so much, right? And so I twisted it like that real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And to this day, that boy protects his sisters over everything. Not afraid of nothing, dude. He'll go pick up a spider, a snake, a frog.
That's awesome.
He's a protector. Like, it's just amazing because their brains are so lucid. And really whatever we put in there or whatever we allow them to put in there, they can transform that energy into reality, man. And if we could do that, like, here I am 42 and I'll have a thought or an idea or whatever, and then immediately all the cynic comes in, right? Like, no, you can't, you're too old, you're too this, you're too, and I have to beat it away, whereas they don't have that. It's just pure innocence, and I think it's the most powerful energy that exists on the planet.
Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the pure joys of being a parent is they make us young again, right? Like they bring us to their level. And I absolutely believe that we can create our realities like the kids
I do too.
Right? Like, I feel like if we can actually, I personally believe that with our thoughts and our energy that we can shape our reality.
Right. I do too, man. I'm 100% with you. I just wish it wasn't so clouded nowadays.
Well, the path, right? The path is always hard to follow, but I feel like, you got to make your own path, right? You got to go through the woods, make your own path, but leave a trail for others, like I feel like, when you lose sight of the path, I feel like you're doing things right. Like, you just keep working, perseverance.
I like that.
You know what
when
I mean?
You lose sight of the path, you're doing things right. I like that, Trey.
Yeah. I mean,
but you know how it is, man. We're just adults, bro. And it's like, especially right now, man, this season's so crazy, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's so crazy. And some days I'm like super strong, confident, business is growing, right? And then just those doubts, man, they like come out of nowhere. It's back in the face sometimes. It's like, dang. It just, I guess what I'm saying is, for me in this season of my life right now, with all my kids and my business and all the things that I'm doing, it literally takes a lot of energy and effort to keep this clear, to keep my mind clean and, attracting the things that I want and not letting any of those, because you know how law of attraction works, man. It's what you're thinking about subconsciously is what you're going to draw into your life. It's not necessarily that conscious thought. And so I'm constantly trying to clean my subconscious out of all of the crap and the crud. It's a battle. It is a literal battle for me during this season.
Yeah. And but you just like you're doing in the morning, you just got to put in the routines. You got to have a plan. You got to prepare for that. Right. Like, I mean, I get the same way, dude. Like, I get up early, I rise and grind. I go out and I run. I'm trying to knock down 100 miles this month running. And
100 miles this month.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, dude. I've been running for a year now. Just kind of like getting up early in the morning. I call it built in the dark because nobody else is up. So
I like that.
I'm building myself in the dark, and when the light comes on, nobody's going to recognize me.
That's it.
So I'm doing that, meditating. I mean, I got to do all that kind of stuff, dude, because it's like the negativity, especially the world that we live in now. But it's also being aware of what's going on and the light that you have inside of yourself, of, being aware of the mind and the ego and what it's trying to do is trying to break you down. The resistance is trying to break you down and win the day. And then, I mean, it along with our biological evolution too, trying to be a part of society. You want to, you don't want to go against the grain because
right.
Back in the day when we were hunters and gatherers, people that were solo, that ran from the lion ended up dead. If they didn't do what the tribe wanted to do, they usually didn't live that long. So all those chemicals that evolved over that time, I mean, we still feel it today. I mean, anxiety is one of them. Anxiety is what saved your life back in the day because it kept you aware of the, external dangers. And now that we don't have to worry about our external dangers, now it's all societal stuff. You know what I mean? Like we all live pretty comfortably. I don't have to worry about a lion coming down the road and eating me.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I got to worry about the neighbors and what they think about my green grass. You know what I mean? Those types of stuff.
Yeah. No
if
doubt.
I got to cut the grass this week because 4th of July is coming. So, I mean, you got social pressures, you got social, what is Trey talking about on his podcast? He's talking about spirituality. He's talking about blah, blah, blah,
Right.
But, remembering that those voices are a part of the ego. The ego is not who you are. What one iota of what you are is a spiritual being that is more powerful than you can ever imagine. Ever imagine. And our journey in this life is not to acquire a ton of external rewards and successes. It's trying to align your mind and your heart and being one, being one being and showing that love.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for.
That's it. That's what we're here for.
And sell some cars.
That too. And the closer we get to that, man, it makes such a ripple effect, man, such an impact. Every single day on my show, every day, Monday through Friday, 5:30 a.m. At the end of my show, I remind myself and everybody, I'm like, evolve and become the absolute best version of you that you can possibly be. Not average, not above average, not a little bit of, the absolute best. Because when you seek that, the impact that it has on your friends, your family members, your coworkers, like everybody that you come in contact with, it's incredible, man. Like the design, the universal design that God has in place for everything. It blows my mind all the time, Trey. I'll be like, if I didn't meet that person, if it wasn't that split second thing. Right now, downstairs, my friend Danelle Delgado, she's a world-renowned speaker. She's just an incredible human. You should interview her on your show. She's amazing. She was just on Necker Island with Russell Branson. She's been in talks. Like she's in Forbes magazine, dude. Like this woman's amazing, dude. Incredible. She's downstairs in my living room right now with my wife. Her kids are here right now because she spoke at Grant Cardone's 10X, and she's actually spoke at all 3 of them. But she spoke at the first 10X. I was at Grant Cardone's house for a VIP party. I walk up to her. I introduce myself. She gives me her phone number, says, hey, when you're doing something with your life, call me. And now here, dude, fast forward 2.5 years, she's been like a mentor of mine. She helped me build my business. She's part of the family. We've traveled the world together. We've been to Greece and like all of these things, dude. And it was all because of that split second, like one little conversation that completely transformed my entire life. And I know that was by design. And so I always think about those things like, golly, man, we've really got to be in tune so that we can move and flow with his plan versus trying to create our own.
Yeah, no,
You know,
I 100% agree. 100% agree, dude. Like, the more that I try, the more that I like will my force towards whatever goal that it may be, the more I fail. You know what I
Right.
mean? But the more that I step back and kind of like, all right, let's see where this goes, things just start falling into place. It's like, I don't even try anymore. Like, I'm serious. Like, I don't, like, I'll throw some, like, I shouldn't even say I try. I mean, I put an effort out. Like,
Sure.
you know, I'll wait for the universe to tell me what's the right move, right? Like, things will work out that way. Like, the more that I try to do things, the more that I create, like, as far as like an effort, like an energy towards something that is not right for me at the right time. Like, the more I hit resistance, and the more I fight, more than I fight, then eventually God's like, bro, like, you got, this isn't the way right now. You're not ready for that right now. Let's go the other way. And once I realized that, because I basically pulled all my hair out, like, trying to get to this one goal, I'm like, all right, let me just chill for a little bit. And next thing you know, when I reflect and I step back, then another door opens and I can easily, like, it's just like, you know, it opens up and I'm just kind of like, why didn't I just think of that before? It's like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, it's nuts. It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, his plan is, you know, it's all about us learning, and that's a part of the learning. It's like it's like bumping into a ton of walls, feeling your way, and just, you know, like you said, right? Like, I'm going back to school now for business. I'm psyched about psychology, but everything, I sit here and I think about everything that I've done, everything that I've chosen. That's the key word that I've chosen. I've everything in my life right now is from me, and I have to own that, whether it's good or bad. Like, I have to be accountable for that.
Right.
And I've chosen everything. And now that I am awakened to the greatness that is inside of me, I choose to do something different. And I'm going to choose to, instead of let things, you know, be of chance, I want to be deliberate about my next actions in life. And I'm going to deliberately plan my life and be responsible for those actions and reactions as well. The whole point of this is be accountable for your life, and know that everything that has happened to you happens for you. And all of those other circumstances are created by the choices that you made around them. And that you have to be aware of that, or else you're never going to awaken. You're never going to realize that, you know, life happens for you.
Yeah, that was a big changing point for me, man. Realizing and understanding that I am not a victim. I am not a victim. You are not a victim. You know, that's one of the very first things that they teach you in Scientology. It's so weird, man. Scientology is a strange deal, dude. It's a strange deal.
I'm really surprised that you did that like that. I mean, not knocking it. I've never met anybody who was in the Scientology. You're the first.
Yeah, dude. So they literally pulled me right off the street. I was homeless. Walk up, hand me a book called Dianetics, written by L. Ron Hubbard, which is a study of the conscious and the subconscious mind. Dude was a freaking genius, man. Dude was brilliant. And they hand me the book. Next thing you know, they got me sitting in the church. They got me watching a movie. Then they gave me a place to stay. They fed me. They gave me a job, right? Like, so, but dude, right in the very beginning, they teach you. So the book of Dianetics, which is the study of the human mind, conscious and subconscious, is legit, dude. It's legit. It's real deal. It's incredible. Now, L. Ron Hubbard then who wrote that book, he started to train people and work with people and do masterminds and groups and so on and so forth. And then this guy, David Miscavige, came in and turned Scientology into a business. And that's when it became a religion. And that's when it got crazy. But its actual like root source is a very powerful study that L. Ron Hubbard did on the conscious and the subconscious. So when you first get in, they're teaching you things like effective communication, understanding your what they call engrams. What are the things that are stuck in your subconscious mind that are causing you to act and react in a way that is not valuable to self? And day one, your very first class, they teach you that you are not a victim, period. No matter what happens in your life, it came through you. It did not happen to you. It came through you. They use an example. They're like, if you're sitting at a stoplight, completely stopped, and someone they rear end you in your car while you're sitting at a stoplight, completely stopped, that you created that situation. You could have left the house earlier. You could have left the house later. You could have been paying attention in your rearview mirror instead of looking at your phone and gotten out of the way. You could have drove a mile an hour slower and not been in that spot, a mile an hour faster and not been in that spot, right? So even though it's a little, like, you're like, well, dang, bro, like, I was just sitting there, but they help you see, oh, wait, you're right. I am in control of this. I can choose when I leave. I can choose how fast I drive. I can choose where I work. I can choose what type of relationships I want to be in. I can choose how I react in certain situations. I have choices. I am not a victim. It is my choice that ultimately determines the outcome. And so that was a powerful takeaway for me, dude, because I was on the opposite end of that. Like, it's all your fault. Yeah. It's all your fault. It's all your fault. And that's why I wanted to fight people all the time, dude, because I was like, I was crazy. So it's just, I think you're right. You can't have full on clarity. You will never be awakened until you understand that your life happens through you, not to you. I think that's a huge, huge, huge key turning point for me and a lot of other people I know.
Yeah, no, the biggest thing for me, like I can only have these conversations with some people, you know what I mean? Like you, sure. Like definitely we can vibe out on this, but like if you're out in public or in social society, like you can just, just because everyone's so jacked up right now, they're so triggered on different things, like they're just asleep to their egos and they're asleep to, this is happening to us, and politically they're just a mess. But that's why I will always put episodes out like this, because one day they're gonna have a realization. They're gonna have like this kind of a moment of like, damn, like Glenn and Trey were like tearing it up on that episode, and like it's finally making sense. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
You know what I mean? So, Glenn, I could talk to you all night, brother.
Dude, I'm with you. I was just thinking, I was like, I think I met one of my new best friends tonight. I think.
Did we just become best friends?
We just become best friends. For real, man. Because we could talk, I could talk, and we shall talk for many more moons to come, man. I'm super glad that we're connected, dude.
How can people connect with you further?
GlennLundy.com. That's the easiest way. That'll link you to my Insta, my Facebook, my Facebook group, my show, all that stuff. Glenn Lundy.
So you have a daily Facebook Live?
Yeah, 5:30 a.m. Monday through Friday. We've done 648 episodes as of this morning.
Oh man, my man putting in work. I love it.
Yeah, man.
So what is it like? Is it an interview thing, or is it just kind of like, what is it? What kind of show is it?
So it's motivation, education, inspiration. 30 minutes. Again, I believe if we can change the way you start your day, make a massive impact in your life. So I used to complain about all the negativity and crap that was in social. And one day I was like, dude, stop bitching about it and do something about it. And so if you don't want all that negativity out there, well, then let's create an environment where that doesn't exist. So I just went live one day, man, January 11th of 2018. I went, that's the day I started. January 6th, 2018. I went live, just like lights in my eyes, dude. I was in the utility closet in my house. I'm like, just woke up, dude, like, oh, it's 5:30, right? And from there, dude, I mean, golly, you want to talk about God just taking something and like, I mean, he took it. A month later, the show was like hitting, and people were like, we need a Facebook group. So we created a group. It's now got over 30,000 active members. then people wanted t-shirts and stuff, so we created a clothing line. Then people wanted a planner, so we created a planner. People started calling me, dude. I've shared stages with Eric Thomas. Him and I are good buddies now.
I love E.T.
He's been
E.T. 's
on
a
my
good
show
dude.
like 4 times. He is a good dude.
I listen to him. I don't know if you listen to Mulligan Brothers on. I'm gonna have to start listening to yours a little bit. So on YouTube, when I'm running, I'll listen to ET, and because Mulligan Brothers is a great inspirational YouTube place.
Yeah,
but
I love it.
He's on that. Like, that's awesome, dude. Like,
yeah,
you got
man.
it going.
So it just blew up, and so now, you know, here we are.
Do you have any snapbacks at all?
That.
Hats?
I do. Yeah, I sure do.
Can you send a brother one? Can I get one that I can rock on the show?
100%, dude. Just shoot me or email me your address, because I'm
standing
in my kids' playroom. Look, I'm standing in my kids' playroom.
Looks like my basement, dude.
Here, dude, check this out. I have an 8,500 square foot house, right?
Yeah.
This was the only room I could find that was quiet, as you saw me running around. And guess what room it is? The kids' playroom.
What is up with that? Why aren't they down there? That's nuts.
They're everywhere else. This is upstairs. We have a basement downstairs too. This is upstairs.
I'm right there with you. Dude.
But
that's awesome.
But no, yeah. So motivation, education, inspiration. And then on Fridays I interview guests. Every Friday I bring on a guest. So Ed Milet's been on there. Grant Cardone, Elena Cardone, Tommy Harris, David Meltzer, Eric Thomas.
David Meltzer, nice. That's awesome, brother. Well, you're doing great things, man. I'm excited to see where you go further, because I think you're definitely on the right path.
You too, bro. Like, I love your podcast style. Like, we could talk for hours for real. I really enjoy conversating with you, and this has been a very unique, in a great way, podcast. I do a lot of these, and this is incredibly enjoyable.
Thank you, brother. Well, thank you for joining the show.
Yeah, man.
I want to say thank you to Glenn for joining the show and hanging out and just crushing this conversation. I want to say thank you to you, the listener, for hanging out with us, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed this. I really hope that you guys got a lot out of this. Please head over to yoursuperiorself.com, leave me a message. What are you guys up to? Also, follow me on social media, Instagram at tdowns80 and Twitter at downstreg. Oh man, I'm ready to roll. Like, I'm ready to go into my week and crush whatever obstacles that may come my way. I hope that you guys do the same, and I will talk to you later.